Just Eff It.
Hi, I'm Romy, an identity coach helping others who struggle with their sexual identity and families of queer youth find their path of understanding and acceptance.
And I'm Carla, a mom empowerment coach empowering moms to own their new identities and motherhood journeys.
And together we are the
EFFing
Madres. We are here to invite you guys into stories of some inspiring madres
who have changed their lives through an Eff It moment. So here we go. Just Eff It.
Happy Monday, everybody. I am
Monday.
Romy. This is Carla. Carla, who are we?
We are the Eff It Madres. We are two moms, two best friends, two Latinas who decided to say Eff It and start a podcast because we were like, what the fuck are we doing? And we became very inspired by that idea because we were both in this like fuck it moment to talk to other moms who have gone through fuck it moments, because it's a podcast about moms supporting moms through those moments because they're life-changing, impactful, inspiring, and they change the life path of you and your families for the better. And sometimes maybe in that moment it may not seem for the better, but ultimately at the end of the day it always is, because it tends to lead you down the path that you're supposed to go. So
100%. And today we have a mama that I met out here in Austin through my group of friends and kind of watched her through social media because it was like during COVID where she got pregnant, and we were all just kind of watching people have babies, right, during COVID.
Yeah.
And like watching their journeys. But like she's just like this free, her child has like all these animals. I know that they've gotten up and just like moved, and I'm just really excited to hear and understand what her life has looked like and where they're at and their journey and their basically their adventure. So I'm excited to chat with her. She's going to be coming in from like
Costa Rica, I think. Yeah.
And so I'm excited to just kind of like have somebody talk to us while they're like living in their, through their moment.
Yeah. All right, cool. I'm excited. We will bring her in just a second. Hey, everyone. We have Mel Martell here. And Mel, we're just going to jump right in. So we want to know, what was the biggest Eff It moment that you've had since becoming a mom?
For us, well, for me, it was changing everything, picking up all of our stuff or a part of it and moving to Costa Rica for a while.
Wow.
And you are in Costa Rica right now.
We are.
This is where she is, you guys. This background for those watching, she's like in a cave in Costa Rica.
Well, question, where were you before?
We're based in Austin. So okay. I still have our place in Austin. We actually head back on Friday, so in a few days. So it's just a little bittersweet being here the last few nights. But then we'll be back here in January. So.
Okay.
And Mel, how old is your child?
He turned 2 in July. So a toddler.
Okay, wow. So it's similar to mine's 2.5. So that is a big change for that age.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, why did you move there?
Was something my husband and I had always talked about, but really never had the catalyst to do it. And we're busy. I changed careers last year, and life is fast. And when you have a kid, it moves so much faster, and you're going to miss out on all of that magic. And so we wanted to come here, slow down. There's no stoplights, y'all. There's 2 grocery stores, and you get what you get. And you sometimes are just forced to stop your day because of weather or a tree that fell in the road. And it's just so lovely. We have so much time with him. So
it forces you to be in the moment, I guess, right? You have to be present because there's nothing else that you could really do.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess being a parent does that too, right? I mean, being an engaged parent, you have to be in the moment, especially with a toddler.
Yeah. And for those listening, Carla's a hairdresser. Mel was also a hairdresser. And then you went into real estate, right? So you took this huge move as a new mom into your career. I kind of followed you through that journey. And then to be able to take this big move, like you're pretty fearless with like going after the things that you want. It's inspiring because so many of us would want to get up and move out there and we don't,
It's scary. I'll admit, like, this was something we had talked about and prepared for and burned the candle at both ends for like months before we got here. But the 2 months leading up to it, I was nervous because life is good. Life at home is good. But knowing that we were going to take this chance for something better, fingers crossed, right? That we
Yeah.
believed to be better. It was scary, like saying goodbye to people. I mean, it's only a few months right now, but next year's longer,
Next year's permanent, right?
more
Well,
permanent.
more
Yeah.
permanent. Yeah. I guess you can never say
Yes.
like permanent. Yeah.
Yeah.
My next question then, and these are some like new ways of kind of asking, but what hurdles, if any, did you experience once you had this mental shift?
Well, I'm a schedule person. I might not appear that way to people, but I like schedules. I keep my kid on a normal schedule for a kid. We're not good at naps, but everything else is pretty routine. And so shaking up my routine, shaking up his routine. And then I also, so yeah, real estate, but I also now work in real estate technology. So tech, I work, I work in tech, which is crazy. And taking the chance of like, the unknowns and inconsistencies down here are crazy. So, you know, and as I've been here, my job has gotten a little crazier and just rolling with it. And when I have a few minutes in between meetings, I like run to the beach. Like I need to get away from a screen. So there was a lot of fear. Taking a chance is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious what sort of impact that had on your relationship with your husband and with your kid. Like, was it strenuous? Was it positive? Like, what did it do for the relationships?
Well, the last 2 years, so my husband and I had been together for a while, and kids weren't really on the roadmap. Like we weren't even thinking about it. Jackson happened 2020, surprise. And that it's been 2 years of us refinding what our partnership looks like. And
Mm.
coming here and basically forcing ourselves to be here, be with each other. There's nothing like we don't have our gym. We don't have our offices. We don't have the places that we go regularly. We have each other. It's actually been amazing, you guys. It's been exactly what we needed. And I've finally, it took me so long to find my groove back after having a baby.
Yeah.
And groove in so many senses. And I think that's what I had to stop the busy life and Jackson is so hitting two, all this magical stuff is already happening. We came here and he's got a room full of toys at home. And I hate it, of course, because I want to get rid of all of them. But we came here with like a backpack of toys, like little bitty toys, like not much. And it was so fun. Like his favorite thing is this stick that he found as a motorcycle.
It's so great, like such a special opportunity for him to have this and to be removed from so much of what we all have here, and to just be put into like such a beautiful space where like a stick is what can entertain him. I mean, so many of us want that, Mel, or like for me at least, like personally, like I dream of something like that. But to get up and move and leave the structure and the routine is it's terrifying. It's just terrifying as a mom, even more, right? Like it's something we feel for more free to do before we have a child. Like if we want to get up, we can get up and we leave. But so many women and so many moms, once we become mothers, we're like, well, no, we can't do that now. And so it is inspiring that you're like, no, you
And
can
it's
still do it.
Yeah, and it's nice to hear that it actually has brought you and your husband closer because I feel like something like this and being in a place that is not as like there's not a lot of things that can distract you guys or whatever and that you have to rely on each other. It could be a difficult thing on a lot of relationships. So the fact that it's brought you guys closer together is that's amazing that it's done that because it could do the opposite.
Well, we did spend 7.5 years in a 300 square foot RV. Like we lived
Mm.
in an RV
Ah,
together. And
okay.
so
So
I
you
think
yeah.
that, yeah, yeah, it's fine. I think that one of the most interesting things about this change has been just that the first couple of years, at least for me, of motherhood are lonely. They were lonely. Most of my friends that are in Austin either have kids that are older, because I'm 40, I'm going to be 41. So they have kids that are older, or they don't have children. And so I felt lost for a while, and I think it was okay for me to come and find another community here too. Like having a kid opens a lot of doors for meeting people.
Yeah, it does. So you have found community there.
Hmm. Oh, it's been
Okay.
amazing.
Oh,
Being
great.
open and like there's a lovely community here.
Oh, that's great. Ugh, community is so important.
I feel like you both also had babies like coming out of like the whole pandemic, right? So it's already was like such a lonely experience as like new moms. I know Carla went through that and Malik watched you. I remember when you got pregnant, right? Like we were all in such a weird place
Yeah.
as a country and so lonely and isolating to begin with. And as if motherhood isn't that already, then you add the removal of like,
Especially those for
everyone
that first year
that
too. That
first
first year
year.
is just fucking rough. Yeah.
So I think it's beautiful that you were able to like know that you needed something else and like, and did that for you. Did that for you and found what you were looking for, found what you needed. Um yeah, my next question then would be like what fears came up for you? What did you experience like as far as fears when you were going through this shift? Like what were you afraid of making this decision?
I think I was afraid of leaving home because we had worked hard over the last 2 years of establishing what that was, home. And I love my place in Austin, but knowing that it's still going to be there, but also that we're doing something different and better for us I don't know, it was very hard. I had anxiety about leaving home. We have animals at home, right? We've got the chickens and the turkeys and the goats and all the animals. And so I think that was scary. And then leaving my dog for 3 months. Rough.
Yeah.
He's coming next time.
I mean, that responsibility right there, like most of us, you guys do have, they have so many animals, right? You have so many animals. Like some people don't travel because they have a dog. It's like hard to just take a trip because of a dog. Thinking about the fact that you guys have all that, all your animals and everything to get up and leave. How did you overcome that? Would be my second question to that. Like in those fears, how did you overcome them and actually push yourself to do it?
Community. We've got community, people that came to get, like, I didn't have to get a house sitter, pay a house sitter. Like, people volunteered. They wanted to bring their kid out, like, hey, we'll come on Sundays and hang out with the chickens and turkeys. And I'm like, amazing. And just knowing that we have good people around us, and
Yeah.
like energy attracts like energy.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. And that's how we found it here too.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? I don't know about if you guys agree with this, but like as I've gotten older, the community has become so much more important. The people that you
Mhm.
surround yourself with, the people you choose to be around, it like we just moved into a place where we're surrounded by community in a way that we've never had before, and they're amazing people. And it's just like, holy shit, like what have we been missing? It's so enriching. It almost is like a dopamine hit too. Like if you're on a bad day and you're around people that bring you joy and are good people and want to help you, you feel like instantaneously better and happier. So I understand why those people that live in the blue zones, like in Sardinia and all of those places, they live for like extended periods of time because they're like all happy with each other, like it's so important. So that's great that you have that. Everybody needs to have that community.
I agree. Wherever
Yeah.
you can find it. You don't
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
leave. You don't have to leave to
Yeah.
find it. But I think for us too, maybe leaving allows me. When I first moved to Austin, I was like, I want to be friends with all of Austin, and I got made fun of by my coworkers for when I said that because I was so little and like new to Austin. I was like in my early 20s. And I feel like I feel that way still about the world. Like why can't we be friends with all the world? And so
I
just have
love
community
that.
wherever we go.
I know. I know. It's such a pure thinking that way, is such a pure way of thinking. It's like it would be nice if we could be that way, but unfortunately that's not the way the world
I know.
works.
Oh, I
It's
know.
sad. I'm curious though, when you had this effort moment, this like moment of liberation and all that, like what sort of emotions what did you feel? Was it like anxiety, fear? Were you just super excited? Was it a mix of both? I'm just curious.
I think it was a mix. It was a mix for sure. Like I was excited to do something that we had maybe always thought of, something that I as a kid. I mean, it hits all those things. Like it hits my inner child. It hits like the nature lover, and then the mother in me who wants to be able to share all this magic with my kid. I mean, it's like living in a Disney movie. Yesterday
Mm.
there were monkeys, and there were two mama monkeys with the itty bitty babies, and then there was a sloth, and then there were parrots, and I was like,
So
this is
cool.
not real.
So
And to
cool.
be able to see a child light up about that stuff makes me want to keep it going when we go home, right? Like just because we leave here on Friday doesn't mean the magic has to stop. You have to find it. You make it. You don't have to leave the country to find the magic. And it's a good lesson.
That's a
Yeah.
great lesson. I'm really glad you said that, because for so many of us who maybe just can't or don't want to get up and like do that big move, like you don't have to do that big move. You can still create that and find that. And just like you said, community can be right where you are. And sometimes we think it is those big moves, right, that can create that change, when in reality, we are able to create those realities right where we are if we want them. And you've done such a beautiful job. I've watched you and followed you and, you know, known you since I moved here, and like watching your life and the bits that you share, right? I obviously don't know all of it, but the bits that you share, it is very magical. This home, your animals, this environment that you have created for yourself right here in Austin.
Thank you. I think it's been hard to. I struggle sometimes relating to other women because, you know, working in the beauty industry, I worked for really high end places, right? You know, so you deal with these women that are just. I was like, I can't relate to you because I feel like a child. And so instead of like trying to change, I decided in 2012, I remember the moment where I was like, you know what? F it. I'm just going to embrace it. Like, I'm not going
Yeah.
to be the same as everybody. I'm going to be like a kid. Like, I'm going to freak out about monkeys or like a cool caterpillar. And so I think maybe I was destined always to be a mother. I just
Yeah.
didn't know it because
Yeah.
geeking out about bugs with my son is the best.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
And
That's
if
so
you
fun.
can't like vibe with like whatever moms or whatever that looks like around you, I think it's more empowering, and we need to hear that message more than just figure out how you do it and like geek out to it. You know what I mean? Like the trying to fit into what other moms are doing, or the mom community, or how we're supposed to mom, is so fucking exhausting. And it's not a one shoe fits all. You know, it's not like, oh, now you're in the motherhood club, so this is how we all do it. It needs
Mhm.
to be more of like an openness to however you want to mom, you know, whatever that looks like for you. Like that's how it looks for you. It's not, there aren't like rules, you know, to how this journey is supposed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And life in general. I mean, the only rule that we should really live by is be good to each other. And then you do you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
respect each other. If people have their differences, respect it. Don't push whatever you want on down people's throats. Like, just leave people be. That's what it needs to be. It would be a much happier place if we just did that. So, yeah.
No, but I think anyone listening, I think definitely the inspiration of like even having a young kid, still being able to take those big moves, change careers, right? You're one of those women who was like not afraid to change your career, to go into something new, to and with a child, right? And with a child, because so often the excuse is you can't. You know, it's
Yeah.
just too much for the home, too much for the marriage, too much for, and that's the whole point of this, is to say F it, and that you can. You know, you're still living, you're still evolving as a woman through motherhood. And if anything, I think it helps us kind of see where we want to go and who we are, at least for me, more so after being a mom than even before being a mom. It gave me that like space. My question then would be, what would you tell your younger self, the person like before coming to this like experience of like power and this mind shift, right? That mom prior to that, like before getting to this space, what would you tell her right now?
That it's okay to change your mind. Yeah. I think that we so often like believe we have to go down a course or a path and stay on it. And that you know, it's okay to change courses. It's okay to change your mind.
100%.
Wow, that's so interesting that that's your message. I was listening to a podcast with Kevin Bacon and Lewis Howes, and that was something that he said. It's okay. It's okay to change your mind. You don't have to like stay one course. So that's so kind of eerie that you're saying the same thing today. It's like, holy shit, yeah, you can change your mind. It's okay to change your mind. It's not like it's not if like politicians and all that, like sure, if they say something one year, it's okay to change your mind the next year. You don't have to just stay in this staunch like this is the way it is. Like the world evolves, we all have to evolve, otherwise
We evolve.
nothing changes, nothing moves forward. So that's a great message.
Thanks.
Yeah. So you'll be moving back here, and then you'll be not permanently. I should stop saying that word because nothing is like permanent, right?
It's
But
not
like
permanent.
the plan is to go back and kind of settle in there after you guys come home for a little bit. And this is kind of your journey right now, right?
It is. It's not at all what I had expected, but it is exactly where I think we should be right now. If things keep going the way they are with my, I can keep my job here, and I'm very excited about the place that we maybe found. We maybe found a place. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Everything moves very differently down here, which is great. It's a great reminder. Like, the more you try to force things down here, the less likely they're going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But in the States, right, you can force anything. I can have
yeah.
anything I want whenever I want it. And it's just such a good lesson. In fact, I sent so many clothes home with my husband because he's gone back twice since we've been here. And I've just been like, well, I only wear like 3 things, and, can't force it down here.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to,
Yeah, I think we've gotten spoiled here in the United States with everything being so convenient and getting it like right where we want it. It's very like, oh my gosh, this isn't how all the rest of the world works. We have to slow down,
Yeah.
and just yeah, you can't force it. Otherwise, you're gonna have a miserable time.
True.
It's also such like a beautiful lesson for your kid, right? Like that not everything's right there right now, and like this like patience being, in an environment at that age where it's just you kind of have to go with the way that like the world is going. That's like such a beautiful lesson because I feel like all of our kids here, it's just like I want it. It's there. Just kind of forces you to slow down a little bit. Like you said, if a tree falls, well then you're kind of slowed down, right? Like we don't deal with those simple things here. It's like such a beautiful thing to be able to do that. Mel, I'm so grateful that you took the time to join us and share your story. These stories are always so inspiring to other moms that are just in that either wanting to have one, have had one, in the midst of are they going to do these like big moments of change? And so these stories they're just inspiring. They're inspiring for us to hear and inspiring for the community that we're creating. So more moms feel the like power of just saying, fuck it, F it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being on
Thanks
here
for
and sharing
having
your
me.
story.
Of course. Is there anywhere before we close this off that anyone should follow you? Any pages or of your work that people can follow you at?
And they can follow me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. Oh, that Mel.
What is it? What's your Instagram handle?
It's Oh, that Mel. Like, oh, that Mel. No, like, oh, that one.
Oh, that Mel. Okay, we'll put that too on the bottom. This is the end where we're gonna say
just F it.